These are directions on how to do your Ratio Digital Pixel Art Center. You're going to click on the math course in Canvas, modules, and then you're going to click on the assignment that says Ratio Digital Art. You're going to click Launch External Tool. It might ask you to log into your Google account. Remember, if you need that login information, it should be on your yellow card. Mine looks a little bit different because this is the teacher side, but yours, when you log in, should show your name, and then it should show where you can click on the assignment, your copy. I'm just going to go ahead and go straight into Google Sheets for mine. And it should look like this. So it has 12 different problems, and then it has a picture over here that is scrambled. So once you put in the right ratio, it should fix the picture so that it looks correct, kind of like solving a puzzle. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the first one. It says the ratio of tomatoes to red apples is 2 to 5. So that means, I'm gonna take a screenshot so I can write on this. That means there are, here we go. That means there are 2 tomatoes because the word tomato comes first. And there are 5 apples. That's what 2 to 5 stands for. 2 tomatoes, 5 apples. If there are 20 tomatoes, how many red apples are there? So I guess I could make it that the same color as my tomato, so yellow. So if there are 20 tomatoes, there we go. How many red apples are there? So we're making an equivalent ratio. So it's kind of like the center that we did last week, the escape room. Okay, so I'm going to take this ratio right here, and I'm going to be putting it on my piece of paper to solve this. So you should have a packet where you're putting your work. I'm going to be doing mine in Notability. So I'm going to set up 2 to 5. Gotta get out of the screenshot. I'm going to do mine in Notability. Something different we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be writing it in a table that looks like this. So on your piece of paper, when you're doing number 1, I want you to draw a table that looks like this. Okay, when we do them in class together, there's going to be like a bunch of different sections, but for this problem, we don't need to do that. We just need one setup like this, and it's only 2 ratios. So I'm going to put in my original ratio. My original ratio is 2 to 5. And that's 2 tomatoes and 5 apples. So I'm going to label it tomatoes, apples. Okay, if I go back to the problem, it said, click on it again. If there are 20 tomatoes, how many red apples are there? So I need to put my 20 in the same row right there as my 2 tomatoes. So like this. So that tomatoes and tomatoes are together. Okay, then I'm going to ask myself, in order to find this missing number right here, I'm going to be asking myself, what did they multiply 5 by to get 20? Okay, and I know that 2 times 10 is 20, which means they multiplied the 2 times the 10. Because this is an equivalent ratio, remember equivalent means equal. Because it's an equivalent ratio, that means that whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So if they multiplied it by 10 on the top, I have to multiply by 10 on the bottom. So I'm going to be doing 5 times 10 to figure out how many apples there are. And 5 times 10 is 50. So that means that there are 50 apples. Okay, so I'm going to take my answer. If there are 20 tomatoes, how many apples are there? To type, you might have to double tap the box. And I'm going to put my answer in there. And I know I got it correct when it turns green like this. If it doesn't turn green, for example, let's say I put the answer as 51, right? When I tap out of it, it should turn red. Okay, so make sure you put the right answer, and the way you know it's right is if it turns green. So 50. Okay. And I can see that some of them have already moved into the right spot. So you're going to solve all 12, making sure it's all in the right spot. When you finish the center, you're going to be turning in a picture of your work. If you don't turn in a picture of your work, you are not getting credit for this assignment. Okay, if you need any help, talk to the people next to you before talking to your